Okay, this video is going to get you started understanding how to create formulas in spreadsheets. So you are going to need our in-class practice file open that we've been using throughout the video series. It should look like this, where your column A has the days of the week in it, column B has the months of the year, and then column C, we made a pattern of numbers counting by 2, starting with evens in column C. And then in D, we have odds. Okay. So what I'd like you to do down here, where it says Sheet 1, we're just going to rename that. And we're going to call it Addition. We'll be working through lots of math on this workbook. And I'm just going to change the color. And you should be in cell E1, okay, cell E1. What we're going to do is we're going to create a formula in this cell that will take the number that's in column C and add it to the number that's in column D. Okay? And I know that you can look at this and see that 2 plus 1 is 3, but I don't want you to type 3 in there. I want you to learn how to build a formula to have the program do it for you. That's one of the big benefits of using spreadsheets, is that it can do the work for you, but you have to set it up correctly. So we always start with math that's fairly easy. Okay, I know that you know 2 plus 1, but later on down the road, we may be using some math that's a little bit harder to do in your head. So we're going to start off here. Make sure you're in cell E1, and we're going to go up to your button bar across here. And if you haven't already, I would suggest that you pause the video and just take a minute and hold your mouse over each button so that you can see what each one does. Most of the time when I'm working with students in spreadsheets, when they have a question, it's because they just haven't taken the time to look up on the button bar and see what the possibilities are. Okay? So getting back to our point, we are working here under the Functions button, and this is the Greek symbol sigma. We're going to use the down arrow next to it. And what this does in a spreadsheet is it shows you the most commonly used mathematical functions in spreadsheets. And right now you'll see 5 of them. You'll see sum, which means to add up, average, count, maximum, and minimum. Okay. Please notice that there's another section called more functions. Okay. Spreadsheets have tons and tons of things that you can do mathematically with them. So what you want to do, if you aren't sure what you need, or if you just want to explore and see what is out there, you can hit that more functions and it will open a new tab for you. And this is kind of like a Google help section where it will show you different types of formulas that are out there for you to use. Some of them are quite complex and some of them are very simple. We're going to use simple ones to start off with, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay. I'm going to just switch back. I'm going to leave this tab open because we'll actually use it later. I'm going to switch back to my file now and go back to E1. So what we're wanting to do in this particular section is we're going to do some addition. So luckily for us, we can use that function button, and you'll see that sum is right there. Okay, so we're going to choose sum, which means to add up. And what Google and Excel does this too, what it does is it drops down and gives you kind of a help section about what you can do to complete your formula. So what I want to do is I want to add whatever is in the cell C1 to whatever is in the cell D1. In this case, what I can do is just take my mouse and I'm going to click on C1 and I'm going to drag across to D1. You'll see that the program is filling the formula for me. Okay? So my formula looks like this: equal sign, sum, and then in parentheses, C1 colon D1. I'm just going to hit enter there, and you'll see that it gave me the result on the spreadsheet. Now here's an important thing to notice. I did not type the number 3 here. Okay, I typed in the formula, which this is the formula bar right up here on the upper left. It has this little FX, and that tells you, it's showing you what is typed in the cell. And this is what I grade when you do assignments for me. I look here that you knew how to build the formula to add up these two numbers, not that you got the answer correct, number 3. I want to see that you built the formula. Okay. So once you have a formula in, what you can do from here is you can use AutoFill to copy the formula to the other rows, and it will automatically adjust your cell addresses so that it works for each individual row, like row 2, row 3, and so forth. When you use AutoFill this way with a formula, you do not have to highlight anything like we did when we were doing patterns, okay, because there's not a pattern to follow. It's just copying down the formula and adjusting it for the correct row. So in this case, I'm going to hold my mouse over the AutoFill box in the lower right corner until I get a skinny black cross. I'm going to click and drag down and then release. Okay, so you'll notice that I get the answers all in column E. I'm going to click right now on cell E6. Okay, I'm on E6, and you'll see the answer I see on the spreadsheet is 23. That's 12 plus 11. Again, 23 was not typed in here. We just copied the formula down. Okay, so if you look right here in the formula bar, it's now adjusted for the row that it's in. So it has equal sign sum, and in parentheses, the cell addresses of what I want to add up. Okay. Here's an example of the benefit of this. Let's say that I made a mistake here, and this number in cell C6 really shouldn't be 12, that it should be 876. I'm just making that up. So I typed in 876 and hit enter. And here's what you should notice. In column E, that was automatically updated. Okay? I didn't have to come over here and add 876 plus 11 and type in 887. It did it for me. Okay? So that's one of the benefits of spreadsheets, is that it automatically updates. Now I'm going to go back and just turn that back into 12. And when I hit enter, again, you'll see it automatically updates it for me. So real quickly, I want to talk about, just review for you, the structure of a formula. A formula looks like this. Always, always, always starts with the equal sign. Okay, so if you can use the functions list, that's great. But if you're just typing in a function on your own, you will need to put the equal sign first. And on your Chromebook, the equal sign is directly to the left of your backspace key. Okay. So equal sign tells the program, I am a formula. And then your next section is going to be the function that you want it to perform, the mathematical function you want it to do. For addition, it's sum, S-U-M. Okay. And remember, you can go to that functions list to see what the correct spelling of the function is. And then inside the parentheses, you tell the range or the cell names and addresses of what you want to add up or do the mathematical function to. In this case, when we started out, it was C1, and the colon means through, okay, D1. And as we're working on formulas, you'll see that sometimes we're going to use a colon in between here, which is the word through, and sometimes we will use a comma, but that will make more sense as we move forward.